Hello, Ashley Rigdon here again. Today we're going to be looking at ways to draw eyes. Very, very important. They attract attention immediately. They're absolutely killer subjects for drawing cartoons. Whether you're drawing something that's meant to be funny, or if it's going to be very dramatic, if it's going to be superheroes, you've got to get the eyes right. They've got to be right every time. Now, one thing I would say before we start on this, what I'm trying to do here, with some small success so far, and hopefully with a bit more with your help, is I'm trying to create a cartoon club group that everybody can contribute to and help each other. And that means that you'll be able to post information. You'll be able to post pictures, the work that you've done in that group, and have us all have a look at it and pass comment and maybe offer some help, because everybody needs a bit of help. I've still am learning. Everybody is always learning. You should never think that you've got it all under your hat. So what we've got is, if you go on the on Facebook, I mean, there's a link. I'll put a link in the description below. But if you go on Facebook and look for Ashley Rigdon's Cartoon Club, you can sign up. You'll be accepted, and then you can start putting your own drawings in if you want to. So from today, I want to think of it as some kind of a proper community where we all help each other. So let's immediately now go forward and start doing our drawing of eyes. 5 killer ways to draw eyes. 5 killer ways to draw eyes. Eyes, obviously, absolutely vital. Windows on the soul and all that kind of thing. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you 5 of the ways to draw eyes, because everybody's got their own way. But we'll start with the simplest one of the lot, which is called dots and dashes. And it is quite simply what it says. It goes like this. Look, dot, dot. That's a pair of eyes. And if we're kind of programmed to spot if 2 things are like that, they're probably eyes. So then all you do after that is you give it expression with eyebrows and the rest of the face, obviously. So with dots and dashes, you do a round face like this. This would be, if you like, typical Peanuts. Just put the eyes in like that, a little nose there, and a smile, or not a smile, but I choose to put a smile because I'd rather do happy things than unhappy things as a general rule. And there you have dots. But you can also have the, if you like, going back to the sort of Charlie Brown concept, and we'll give him some hair like that. You can also have the good grief moment, which is so famous for, which is a bit like that. You see how simple that is. The important thing here is that the eyes closed in resignation, that you can see, are just dashes. It's almost like the Morse code of eyes. You can make it even more powerful, if you like. Let's just take out those eyebrows. We can put the eyebrows in as like that, and then you can put these wrinkles in to give it crow's feet. Oh, forgot the ear. But you get the idea. Dots and dashes. And you suddenly, people say, oh, I don't know that I can draw. I don't believe I can draw. Oh, I could never draw. No, I can't draw anything. Well, if you can't draw dots and dashes, you can't even write. So I don't believe you. It's just a question of confidence. Now, way number 2, we'll call 6s and 9s. It works best with the 6s, but it can work with 9s as well. 6s and 9s. So it's like this. They're kind of filled in 6s. They're more like quotation marks really, but 6s and 9s. There's your 6s. And so again, on a little round simple face. Remember, we're drawing this as if we're drawing it with pencil prior to inking it. We're not going in as inking right off. So we're allowed to do all this kind of odd little, featherings and scratching around. So two sixes, a nose and a mouth, and there you have a face. Put some eyebrows in, but I mean, who can argue with that? Two sixes like that make two eyes. And if you want the person to look upwards, let's have them point the other way, do nines. Suddenly looking upwards. Sixes and nines. Try that. See if it works for you. See if it works for you. While we're doing this, I just want to reiterate the idea of the Cartoon Club, because what my purpose is really is to build a really big and strong club of people who want to draw cartoons, love doing it. Some may do it professionally, some may only do it for fun and do their own birthday cards, Christmas cards and so on. But the important thing is that you must join the Cartoon Club if this is going to give you any value. So go to the Facebook and find Ashley Rigdon's Cartoon Club group and just join. You'll have a lot of fun because you'll be able to put your own material on there, and I wouldn't say critique it, but we could critique it if you ask for critique. But people do tend to be very kind, and frankly, since it's my group, if anyone isn't kind, we'll boot them out. So while I'm at it, while I'm asking you to do something, hit the like button if you can, and hit the subscribe button if you think this channel and the group is going to give you some use. Now we'll move on to number 3. And this is one which I call haddock. You can hear the traffic going past. These are French people finishing their working day and going home for no doubt some foie gras and red wine and that kind of thing. Haddock. The haddock is a fish that has its eyes on one side of its head, and this is just the strangest thing that you've seen. I've seen it loads of times in cartoons. Let's just do a sort of an approximation of a cartoon person. Put a nose on it like that, and a mouth and a chin, and then what you do is you go like this. And there, I mean, it doesn't look at anything like a haddock, but both his eyes are on one side of his face, and you would think that would look utterly ridiculous. But next time you're looking around at cartoons, you're going to see this. Now that I've mentioned it to you, you'll see. And it proves beyond any doubt that if you want to draw, you simply draw, and do it with confidence, and whatever style you choose is what is going to come out. It's going to look great, because confidence is the thing that makes it look great. Number 4, the expressive. Now we're getting a little bit more into what I think of as my territory really here, because we're now going to do it a little bit more artisty. So we're looking for the expressive. So this is now going to involve eyebrows, eyelids, positioning of eyes to show a certain type of emotion. So once more, we have our sphere like this, and we'll just throw an ear on the end like that. And let's give it a nose as if it was drawn by the artist who created Asterix. That's his kind of a nose there, a big bulbous nose. Now eyes go in like this, and remember again, this is the pencil level, this is not the ink, this is not the finished item at all. And what we're going to attempt here is somebody who's looking a little bit dubious and doubtful about something. So bring down those eyebrows a bit. Put an eyelid halfway down on each one, and have the eyes looking ever so slightly out to the side like that, and a bit of a less than happy mouth. Give it a little bit of hair. Just notice that I'm really just throwing the pen at that, and it still works quite well. So what we've got now is a slightly more expressive eye. And when it comes to inking over that, and I'll just do that now, we'll put some ink over the top of it. here goes the ink. Now, eyelids, we don't bother with drawing the other part of the eyelid, just where the eyelash would be. And now you can see that kind of look of mistrust. The look that says, "Are you sure? I don't believe you for 1 second." This is how it would be once we've inked it. Again, throw the pen at that, and just because it's not what we're concentrating on. Hair is, well, hair today, gone tomorrow, haha. So we'll just turn that off, and you can see how it looks. Look, he doesn't trust what's being said to him one tiny bit. So that's the type of expressive eye. Also, let's see. We'll have a lady, because we haven't done any ladies. Don't know why it is, but we all think of cartoons. I say we all. A lot of us think of cartoons with, oh look, do a little cartoon man. It seems like the thing that you do. So now with a lady, we generally give a lady a small nose unless she is some kind of a grotesque, because it's the way nature is. Ladies do tend to have slightly smaller noses than men, and we'll give her she's a bit surprised about something, eyes are poking out like that, and then we go eyebrows. But what I want to show you here is extra lines that you add. We'll just turn her into a woman by adding hair, by the way. That's by far the simplest way, in faces at least, of showing that somebody's either masculine or feminine. So we've got this face, and we're now going to exaggerate the surprise. And what you can do, and there's probably more than one way of doing this, is just to the outside of the eye, just add an extra line, almost as if you're putting the eyes in brackets. And now she looks quite petrified about whatever it is that's bothering her. And you can see it works nicely. It does. Works very nicely. Now the fifth way that I'm going to show you, I would call realistic, because this is how it's done, or one of the ways that it's done, with the kind of superhero or the action adventure type cartoon. So you've got to think of proper drawing. So here we are again with the head, with the meridian, and we drop that down like this, and we're going for an action hero, so he's going to have a good old jaw here like this, but we're going to exaggerate the jaw and bring it down a little bit more, put his ear on, equator for his eyes, and these eyes, again, you start, or you can start this way. Let's give him a proper nose, not a very cartoony nose, but a nose that looks like a person's nose, and we'll have him expressing some kind of aggression. So it actually means that we've got to bring his jaw down even further, because otherwise it looks like his aggression's coming off his chin. So we take it down a bit, but that's natural, because you would have a jaw that when a person is crying out like this, the jaw is going to be lower down. It's going to be stretched open. Fill that space there. And now all we've got to think about is the eyes, which is what we came here for in the first place. Eyebrows are going to come in like this, because he's aggressive about something, and he's going to get a bit slitty-eyed. So this is how you do that. You just take the eyelash, because he's obviously a super masculine chap here, we don't want to give him too much in the way of an eyelash. But again, this is the pencil underdrawing, and I'm now going to, let's just knock that back just a touch. I'm now going to do the ink aspect of this, as you might do it. We won't bother giving him any hair, which is fine. You know, he's a shaven-headed warrior type. Nice thick eyebrows, but those eyes are now nothing but that. They're almost like the 66 and the 99, but we are going to put a line under them as well. So, but they're based around that 66, 99 that we did at the top. So now put that nose in, make it more realistic. There'll be a bit of a flare of a nostril there, and look how almost rectangular that mouth is. Because it's a person, it's organic. You've got to put curves in, but it is, he's aggressive, he's masculine, and so we do it this way, and we put his bottom lip in there. We can even, let's bring the bottom lip across like that. Did you see what I did on the right hand end of it? So, and then we'll take this jaw, we'll put a nice cleft in it. Again, it's a big masculine thing, and just do the ear. We're concentrating on the eyes after all. Now, depending on what age our man is, we can give him some lines under the eyes, we can give him little wrinkles there, we can even add, if you look at people of a certain age, the eyelid tends to kind of double and fold down a little. But that's the essence of the sort of realistic eye, and we'll bring that back up to its full strength again and take away the inky bits. And we'll now just try and do an ordinary face in the realistic style. Always, I mean, it's almost slavish, isn't it? I do it all the time, but we've got to keep to the structure. If you've got the structure right of the underlying structure, we'd know this about almost anything, wouldn't you? If you've got the underlying structure right, then the rest of it has to work. Now we're going to try somebody who's just a little bit more content, but with the realistic type of eye. Again, we're mimicking real life by putting eye sockets into a skull. We'll give him a nose that's an ordinary nose. We'll even give him a mouth that's got a little bit of a smile to it, just so that we can relax him a little. His eyelashes will be like this, and then at the bottom of the eye you can just show where the corners of the eye might be, and have him looking on. Looks like a chap who might be watching his child in the swimming baths, or something like that. So what you've got here, if we go back up to the top, you've got the simplest of all, which are dots and dashes, and they work really well depending on the style that you want to use. You've got 6s and 9s. It's a close cousin of the one above. There's something that many years ago, probably back in the 1940s and 50s, people recognised worked quite well as eyes. You've got haddock, where you can, again, it's quite anarchic. You can put the eyes on one side of the face and it still works. And then you've got the more expressive face, the expressive eyes, where eyelids are used in this way. Eyelids are used to show, scorn or something like that, and then the big eyes with the brackets around them. Those big eyes are shock. You can also use that for when somebody's crying. It works quite well. Let's just see if we can take that mouth away, and show her the eyebrows would need to change slightly as well, but the eyebrows would now be like this and like this, and this, she could Here's a little tear. There she is. She's all upset. Poor thing. But putting the brackets on there, it works for shock, for fear, for grief and sadness. Not something you want to use all the time, but it's great when you consider that most cartoon characters have got exaggerated anger management problems. Then you need to know all the different ways to show the different degrees of anger. Anyway, there you are. 5 really good ways to draw eyes. Many of them quite nicely connected to each other, and you can see how they would have developed over the history of cartooning. We'll be coming back to eyes all the time, one way or another, because if you're drawing cartoons, you're drawing people, and if you're drawing people, you have to have eyes. Eyes show so much about people. But those are 5 killer ways to draw eyes, and what I'd really be happy for you to do now is to try and draw some eyes yourself using these kind of forms. And then if you'll go onto the Cartoon Club on Facebook, you can post them on there, and we'll see what we all think about it. So thank you very much for following me on this. I hope it's been a really good instruction for you, and we'll speak again very soon. Bye bye now.